You may be seated. Wasn't that a majestic way to get us started? That's fabulous. Good morning. I'm Margot Zelenz. I'm the Vice President for College Advancement, and I have the honor of being your MC this morning. We have a lot in store for you in the next hour or so, and then we'll be having your class photo, don't miss that, and then lunch, so I'll keep my remarks short. But first and most importantly, welcome to the new students who are going through this for the first time, to the returning students who are here to enjoy the pageantry and the opening ceremonies that mark a new academic year, to the faculty and staff who work so hard to be ready for this week and will be your guides and support throughout the year, to our students, faculty, and staff at our extended sites who are joining us through the wonder of technology. Hi, guys. To the sisters who help to keep us grounded in the Benedictine heritage and values, and to our alumni and friends who are with us today, we are so pleased that you are all joining us on this important occasion which opens the 99th academic year. Welcome, one and all. This year, as a college, we will be concentrating on the Benedictine value of hospitality, and what a great way to get us started. I have felt very welcomed here for my first year by the sisters, by the leaders, the faculty, the staff, the students, and the alumni. And I encourage you to all embrace this and the other Benedictine values that guide us: community, respect, stewardship, and of course, the love of learning. The College of St. Scholastica is a special place. You have chosen it because of this. And now, you are an important part of it. As we begin a new year, let me just offer you a little tiny bit of advice. Take advantage of every moment. Take time to get to know that student down the hall who may be totally different from you. Take time to learn as much as you can from your faculty, your classes and activities. Take time to study, and your moms would say, take time to rest. Take time for yourself and for others. Be open to new ideas, new people, and new places. Enjoy it all every day. This year and your full 4 years will fly by before you know it, believe me. So welcome. We are all so glad that you are here. Let us begin our program with an invocation from Father William Graham, Professor and Director of the Bregelman Program in Catholic Studies. Father Bill?
This is one of the most wonderful moments of the year, when we get our first looks at one another. And when we look out and see you, we see you new and bright and eager, and it just could not be more exciting. I wish all of you could have had the view that we did when your first members came down 2 by 2, each escorting between them one of our most treasured alums. You'll be introduced to these extraordinary people later, the senior members of the alums of the College of St. Scholastica. And when you look up here, you see unimaginable resources, people with academic degrees from all across the globe, bringing their experience and their wisdom to meet you at wisdom's table. Our every encounter on this campus, even when we are at prayer, is to seek wisdom, opening our hearts and our minds. So in that spirit, I'm going to have a little contest for this opening prayer. If you could see this, you think that this might be an ordinary bottle opener, but oh, you'd be wrong. Because I purchased this in Vatican City last January. It's made of semi-precious metals in its own plastic protective case. On one side, a stamped image of Pope Benedict. On the other, Vatican City, blessed by the sound of the Pope's own voice. I used to offer as a gift $50 or this, and people always took this, so I'm offering this year. To the first person who, after the conference, not during, sends me an email identifying the author of the ancient prayer that I am about to pray. So this can be yours. It will be in my office and in my pocket, and the Dean of Students always wants me to tell you it does not work on bottles of alcohol until you turn 21. So let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God and bow our heads in prayer. Grant, O merciful God, that I may ardently desire, prudently examine, truthfully acknowledge, and perfectly accomplish what is pleasing to you for the praise and glory of your name. Amen.
For you new students, if you get a chance, be sure to stop in the office of our next speaker and get to know her a bit. Sister Mary Rushford is our Associate Vice President for Mission Integration, and she has a wonderful way of putting into words the connection between our values, our roots, and how we live up to them today. Sister Mary?
Morning, everyone. It's great to see you all. Nice to see so many new faces. And it's also nice to see the faces of returning students. So on behalf of the Sisters of St. Scholastica Monastery, I'm here this morning to welcome you once again. You know, this campus, this hill, has been the home of the Benedictine sisters for 102 years. And when Mother Scholastica and her small community of sisters came from St. Benedict's convent in St. Cloud in 1892, they brought a lot of hope and faith and dreams with them. And when they moved to this hill in 1909, Mother Scholastica's dream was that someday there would be a college on this site. And here we are, about to celebrate our 100th birthday. So you are following in the footsteps of thousands of young men and women who have passed through these doors and who have pursued their college education here. We began with 6 students in 1912 when the college opened, when Mother Scholastica's dream was realized. And today, you know, we have gone far beyond 3,000 students. Many of the Benedictine sisters and many of the faculty and staff members have graduated from St. Scholastica. And it's wonderful to know that some of them have come back to work here. And of course, today we are honored to have the Heritage Club members, women who graduated from St. Scholastica many years ago and still consider this place home and have wonderful, happy memories. So welcome and thanks for joining us again. So here's what I believe about St. Scholastica. I believe that CSS is a place where Mother Scholastica's dreams began in early 1900s and continued. It's a place where new dreams can emerge, a place where minds can expand and be challenged and can be stretched in many directions. CSS is a place where values are important. And as Margot mentioned, this year's focus on hospitality calls us to be welcoming to and accepting of all people. CSS is a place where growth takes place, strengthening mind, body, and spirit. It's a place where activities abound on and off campus, and where a myriad of possibilities await you. And it is definitely a place where love of learning is indeed flourishing and will continue to do so into the next 100 years. No one makes a journey alone in this life, and there are many people who make it with you. So right now, I'm going to invite you to stand up. And I want you to look around at your classmates, look around at those way up at the top. There are no strangers in this room. They are only friends waiting to be discovered. And during these years here, you will make valuable, lasting friendships. And now, once again, take a look way, way up there. And then look at these people on the stage behind me. It's no coincidence that they're here with you today. These are some of the people who will become your best friends this year because they're here for you. They will motivate you, they will challenge you, and they will assist you in whatever way they can. They will be your safety net when things get tough. So when they tell you to call or to stop in their office, they're not just saying that. They truly mean it. So they'll be here. And why? Because they love learning and they want you to love it too. And they want to help you make your way. So you can sit down now. Our mission at the college is to offer you the help you need to go forth from here to touch the world through your own gifts and talents, some that you know you already have, and some that you will discover along the way. And on the other side of the campus, other end of the campus, there is still a community of Benedictine sisters who will pray for you along the way, who hope to get to know you, some who may be your teachers or staff members that you encounter. Our hope is that you will soon feel at home among us and that you will come to love and cherish and take care of this place as we do. And above all, I truly believe that there is a God who loves us all more than we can imagine, and who will be with us every step of the way. So my advice is, welcome this year with open hearts and open minds. Bring to this college community your own uniqueness, helping us to be more tomorrow than we are today. Enjoy every bit of it. There's a lot to enjoy. And we will do the same for you. We will bring our gifts to share with you, for we are one community. So welcome again, and have a great year.
Thank you, Sister Mary. Many of you have been in contact with our next speaker, or maybe one of his staff during the admissions process, but to give us all a bit more information all about you, here is Erica Berg, our Vice President for Enrollment Management.
Dr. Goodwin, Dr. Domholt, Sisters of the Monastery, faculty, staff, and students of the College of St. Scholastica, especially our alums from the Heritage Club, sitting right here in front, It is my distinct honor to introduce you to the incoming class of 2011, freshmen and transfer, who are with us today. This entering group of new students numbers 636. 495 of them are incoming freshmen, the fifth largest class in the college's 99-year history. They are a bright group with an academic profile well above the state's average for colleges and universities. And in fact, this group of incoming students has exceeded any class in recent history in average GPA, ACT, and class rank. Our entering transfer students number 141 with an academic profile similar to their freshman counterparts from both their high school and college experience. All our incoming students have proven they can perform at a high academic level. And faculty, I want you to know that word on the street is that the plan is that they continue this trend. They come from 13 states and 18 countries. The states include Alaska, Arizona, California, Florida, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, North Carolina, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, Washington, and Wisconsin. Well, the countries represented in this class include Bhutan, Canada, Colombia, El Salvador, China, Iraq, Ireland, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Mongolia, Nepal, Philippines, Saudi Arabia, Sweden, Switzerland, Ukraine, United Kingdom, and last but not least, Zimbabwe. 129 of our incoming students have alumni connections. 35 of our incoming students have parents who have attended Scholastica. 27 have had siblings attend. 29 have had cousins attend. 31 have had aunts and uncles attend. And 7 have had grandparents attend St. Scholastica. This incoming class is ripe with every sort of diversity. Some were raised in places that people refer to as the middle of nowhere. Others raised in the middle of the biggest cities in the world. Some come from blocks away, while others come from the far side of the globe. Some come from a long history of college goers, while others seek to blaze the trail to become the first in their family's history to ever earn a degree. Some come from wealth, some come from abject poverty. Some of our native students' families have lived on this land for hundreds of years, while others are first-generation immigrants. No matter their history or origin, they have converged on this place at this time with a shared sense of belonging and dreams. Dr. Domholt, as Vice President for Academic Affairs, I'm pleased to place them in your trust. They stand in the same place as have students of years past who have since left us transformed and ready to change the world. They understand the journey they are about to undertake and know it will take a commitment to education and personal perseverance to reveal the road ahead. They have rich experiences to share. They are an eager and willing group, well prepared to be productive members of the St. Scholastica community. Dr. Domholt, they are now officially in your hands.
Thank you, Mr. Berg. On behalf of the faculty, I accept these students into our midst. Students, you are now full-fledged collaborators in the quest for responsible living and meaningful work. The warmest of welcomes.
Thank you, Dr. Domholt. One of the reasons that you have chosen to go to a small liberal arts college is the opportunity to get to know your faculty and staff. The president of a college is an important leader and carries much responsibility. I hope you will have a chance to get to know your president, if you can catch him in between the trips that I take him on to visit with alumni. Dr. Larry Goodwin has been president of the College of St. Scholastica for 13 years now and continues to encourage and inspire us. Dr. Goodwin?
Good morning. We've gathered this morning to celebrate the beginning of a new academic year and to welcome you into our community. I hope you feel welcomed. Everybody's been saying it. The philosopher Alfred North Whitehead, one of my favorites, said that the justification for a university is that it preserves the connection between knowledge and the zest of life by uniting the young and the old in the imaginative consideration of learning. The tragedy of the world, he continues, is that those who are imaginative have but slight experience, and those who are experienced have feeble imaginations. The task of a university, he says, is to weld together imagination and experience. That pretty much captures the spirit of this ceremony. Since 1912, the College of St. Scholastica has been welcoming new students each year, educating them, and sending them forth as thoughtful leaders. We have a lot of experience. You, new students, are literally fresh persons. You bring enthusiasm and zest and energy to our college. You refresh us and make us new. We know when you get here in August. So we bring you experience and tradition. You bring us imagination and promise. This is a good match. The community you are joining is broad and deep. We're wearing academic robes, and that signifies our connection to learning communities going back to the great medieval universities. And when you join us now, you become part of the long and noble tradition of intellectual inquiry, thoughtful debate, and the love of learning. When you join us, you join a community of conscience as well as a community of inquiry. That's why this is standing right here. We are a community of conscience as well as an intellectual community. And that's because our college is shaped by the wisdom and the values of the Catholic Benedictine heritage. Our 5 core values, I hope you know them already: community, hospitality, respect, stewardship, and the love of learning. They guide our lives and our work together. And to join this community is to make a commitment to these values. We use the phrase cor et anima, heart and soul, to remind one another of our shared commitment to help one another live out these values. Specifically, our values mean that we reject such things as academic dishonesty, substance abuse, racist actions or comments, and physical or verbal violence. On the positive side, our values mean that we take care of our campus and that we take care of one another, and that we use our education ultimately to make the world a better place. At some colleges, the speaker would now say to you, look to your left, look to your right. Half of you won't be here 4 years from now. You won't make it. But I say to you, look to your left and look to your right. These are the people that are going to carry you to the finish line. You are now St. Scholastica saints, and the expectation for saints is high. This great house of stone, imagined more than a century ago by Mother Scholastica Kirst, is a dramatic landmark in a dramatic place. I once asked 2 young women from Ireland how they came to enroll at St. Scholastica. One of them said, "We were surfing the net and we found the castle." You get to go to school in the castle. This castle sits at the edge of the deep woods, the great forest, and on the shore of the big water. There are few spots on earth where nature and culture come together as beautifully as they do in Duluth, and you now become part of this place. Our college community overall includes 4,000 students at our campuses here in Duluth, but also the ones reflected on the screen up here, St. Paul, St. Cloud, Rochester, and Brainerd, as well as students around the country online. And overall, your colleagues come from 43 states and from 45 countries. We serve single working mothers who are earning their degrees in the evening or online. We serve mid-career professionals who have returned to complete their baccalaureate degrees or earn their master's degrees. And we serve more than 2,100 students like you, our traditional undergraduates. Our faculty and staff will be your teachers, your guides, your mentors, and maybe even your heroes. All of their experience and expertise, their knowledge and their wisdom is now at your disposal. All you have to do is ask. There are 18,500 living graduates of the College of St. Scholastica spread out across the country. They're healthcare professionals, attorneys, teachers, business leaders, public servants. When you join us, they become your extended network. They can help you make connections. They can be references and connection points for your professional lives later. And I too want to recognize our special Heritage Club graduates from 50 or more years ago. Take a good look, because that big wheel comes around. They once sat where you are, metaphorically. This wasn't built 50 years ago, but they sat where you are, and someday you're going to be sitting down there welcoming a new group of 18-year-olds. This is part of your family too. So today you're joining a community that reaches across space and stretches back in time. All of us will work hard to help you expand your horizons and realize your dreams. And in return, we ask that you give us your best efforts and that you cherish our traditions and respect our values. After all, they now become your traditions and your values. So welcome to the St. Scholastica community. Live here, learn here, and when you leave here, transform the world.
Thank you very much, Dr. Goodwin. And now our convocation address entitled The Power of One will be given by Mr. Robert Hartle, who is the Associate Professor in the Department of Management, and he was the recipient of the 2011 Max H. Levine Award for Teaching Excellence. Mr. Hartle?
Thanks, Margot. For those of you who are following your programs, you will soon learn that the speech I'm about to give is not actually the power of one. What happened is the template for the program continued the title of the talk that was given last year. But I'm pleased that it was, because the talk was given by our late colleague, Kay Lutz, who, for many of us, in addition to being an outstanding educator and friend, was somebody we had a chance to work with in the classroom. And Kay and I worked often, so it's kind of fitting I get a chance to acknowledge her passing. She passed away during the school year last year. Among her great talents was one that I hope you can all utilize today, and that was a wonderful sense of humor and a very infectious laugh, which I think my colleagues will agree we all miss. So, if anything I have to say is even mildly amusing, please respond with raucous laughter, long and hard, because Kate could appreciate it. In each of the past 10 years, I've sat in this auditorium and listened to convocation speeches by many talented colleagues. The speakers often have started with comments about the anxiety associated with writing the speech, and several of them have talked about just finishing their speech a couple of days before they delivered it. I always thought that anxiety piece was a little overstated. I mean, how difficult can it really be to write a 10-minute speech? However, after pondering what I would say throughout most of the summer months, I can attest the anxiety is pretty real. I mean, after all, how does anyone find words that are meaningful and in a context that can work both for new students and for experienced faculty members? As I was thinking about that question this morning at 3 o'clock, as I was finishing writing my speech, it occurred to me that I had accidentally found a solution to that dilemma. Tired and as exhausted as I was, I could see that the words I was writing were starting to resemble very much the papers that students often produce after an all-nighter. So as I reread this speech about an hour ago, I am now confident that both experienced teachers and experienced students will recognize the style. And I think many of you who are freshmen will become familiar with this style of writing sometime during finals week in December, if you haven't already. Seriously, I want to touch on 3 ideas today, excuse me, that are intended to stimulate your thinking about how students learn, how teachers teach, and how those 2 roles are highly interdependent and sometimes interchangeable. The topics are, first of all, the importance of errors and mistakes. The second one is how ignorance is a prerequisite for true knowledge and understanding of whatever disciplines you're going to study. And the third one is the concept of equifinality, which, by the way, is not a word I invented the other night while I was writing this speech after too much coffee. So I'm going to go through this in reverse order. So let me start with the last one I mentioned. Equifinality is a term with its origin in systems theory, and it means roughly there are many ways to the end. So why is equifinality relevant to students and teachers? Well, one answer is because we learn things in different ways. Some people learn best by listening to lectures or by reading journal articles. Others like to roll up their sleeves and try out new ideas. They like to experiment. And still others need to reflect on their experiences before they can kind of construct meaning from their experience. Historically, educators have created systems that are pretty linear. We teach a lesson, the students study it, we give an exam or assign a paper, and then we, the teachers, assess what, if any, learning has occurred. I guess that's an okay system if you happen to be a student who learns in a linear fashion, if you're accustomed to moving from point A directly to point B. But that system doesn't really work very well if a student is more accustomed to visiting point C and D and X and Z on the way sometimes to point B. And furthermore, perhaps point B is simply a sub-lesson within one of those other points. For example, point Z, which isn't going to get encountered by my linear method. So both teachers and students need to appreciate the differences in how we learn. Teachers, so they can adapt their methods to accommodate the various learning styles of students, and students, so they can better explain their needs and the expectations that each of you have for teachers. For education to be good and a productive experience for all of us, we need to consider ourselves partners in learning. And just remember, everyone intuitively believes that his or her method of learning is best. When you're a hammer, the whole world starts to look like a nail. The word equifinality is also relevant in another sense. One reason that we don't all have the same learning characteristics is that we're not clones. We come from different cultures, different segments of society, and sometimes different nations. Our lifetime experiences are not the same. Our judgments and our behaviors are based on different assumptions and different beliefs and different priorities. These differences create opportunities for students in higher education to examine ideas from different cultural perspectives, to create new knowledge, and as a result, have much greater influence on the world around you. However, these differences also present higher education with its greatest challenges. Before we can benefit from differences, we first have to understand them, or at least appreciate them and accept them. We need to confront these challenges directly and patiently, and then use our differences as leverage for achieving the learning outcomes that collectively students and teachers decide are most important. Equifinality, there are many ways to the end. My second topic may sound a bit odd, especially coming from a teacher. It's about what Edgar Schein, one of my academic influences, has called accessing one's ignorance. His point is simple. If I can only help others learn things when I'm able to distinguish the difference between what I think I know and what I actually know. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Suppose that in my process consultation class, which is a class I teach in our graduate programs, a student asked me the following question. Mr. Hartle, how should I pose a difficult diagnostic question to a new business associate who I find intimidating? My intuitive answer, based on what I think the student wants to know, would probably be, you shouldn't use that type of question. It's simply not an appropriate level of inquiry for a new associate with whom you don't have trust. However, if I had accessed my ignorance as a teacher, a better response would have been, why do you ask? Or, what are you hoping to accomplish? And perhaps the student's answer would have been different. It might have been, because I asked a difficult question and this morning, the business associate got angry, and now I don't know what to do. Or better yet, it may have been because you, Mr. Hartle, are the person I was thinking about. I find you intimidating, and I'm having trouble acknowledging I don't get this stuff that you're teaching. So if accessing one's ignorance, and therefore acknowledging it kind of publicly, if that's hard for you to do as students, think of how incredibly difficult it must be for your teachers. And students, when you were in high school or when you've been in other college classes, for those of you returning, when was the last time you heard a teacher say, I don't know what to do next, what do you think we should do? Students and teachers have expectations for each other's roles, and those expectations sometimes inhibit opportunities to learn. Preconceptions, human defensiveness, and stereotyping are all obstacles that we have to overcome in creating an open climate in which learning can occur. So if you're a teacher, don't ask only questions that you know are relevant to the topics you teach. Also ask questions that inform the things you don't know. And don't be afraid to acknowledge, I don't have all the answers. Alternately, if you're a student, tell your teachers when you need help and let them know what type of help you need. Many years ago, Peter Kropotkin, a Russian economist, philosopher, and social activist, said to his students, think about the world you want to live in. What do you need to build that world? Demand that your teachers teach you that. So don't be afraid to access your ignorance. Doing so is often at the heart of learning. Finally, I want to talk about the importance of mistakes, or what Chris Argyris at Harvard calls errors. He defined an error as a mismatch between one's intention and the actual consequence of your action. He said that learning occurs when errors, especially those that are potentially embarrassing or threatening, are discovered and corrected. In this sense, errors are very helpful, and there's something in which all of us can find comfort and opportunity. And as a quick aside, when I covered this topic in the classroom last year, one student who seemed quite comfortable with accessing his ignorance said, you telling me mistakes are good? If they are, just give me the A right now because I will produce. Fixing a particular problem is one way to learn, but a more powerful form of learning occurs when we not only fix the immediate problem, but also discover what caused it, and then fix the cause. In doing so, we not only resolve the current problem, but also figure out how to avoid future ones we haven't encountered yet. This better way of learning is called double loop learning. For those of you who've read literature about management, or perhaps watched Jon Stewart's monologues on The Daily Show, which is a very good source of information about bad business practice, you'll recognize that double loop learning is the essential ingredient in what people now describe as organizational learning. Anyone hear that term before? Organizational learning? Few? Let me illustrate how error correction, eliminating the mismatch between intentions as educators and the results in experience, could help institutions of higher education become learning organizations. I know that statement sounds sort of weird, but try to appreciate the irony that's embedded in it. Here's my example. Let's say that I'm teaching a course about group dynamics, and appropriately I've got students working in groups. They're working on projects. As finals week approaches, when the projects are due, 4 members of one of the teams come to me before class to complain that a 5th student in their group, we'll call him Jim, hasn't been doing his share of the work. And they want me to do something about it. That situation just isn't fair. He's not carrying his load. I could, I guess, because I'm the teacher, haul in Jim, interrogate him about the allegations, and then take some corrective action. However, that action would miss entirely the lessons that reside in the double loop, lessons for both the students and for me, the teacher. Instead, if I suggest that the team convene a meeting to discuss with Jim the reasons he hasn't done his work, perhaps they would discover that the group had done a poor job of defining the expectations and consequences for the members. They might also find that Jim was dissatisfied with their work. In other words, they would be working outside of the single loop in the double loop. And the effect would be that in the future, both members of that group would become more mindful of the importance of setting the standards in advance of a project, and I'd probably become more familiar with my obligations to alert people to that potential problem early in the course. So in that example, we've all learned important lessons. They've learned how to set up a project. I've learned how to do a better job of helping them. So there you have it, 3 simple ideas that I hope will make this academic year a fruitful one. Don't be afraid of mistakes and errors. They're at the very heart of learning. Use them wisely for all they're worth. None of us know all of the answers. Don't be afraid to admit it. Ask good questions to inform your ignorance. Ask for help when you need it, and give it when it's requested. And finally, embrace and utilize our diversity as people and as learners. Equifinality. There are many ways to the end. In the case of this speech, reaching the end is simple. Thank you. Have a great year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hartle. Now we can see why you received the honor of that award. Next, we will enjoy a musical selection from our Department of Music featuring Bill Bastian. Bill?
It would seem that the word for today is ostentatious, which is not a city in Texas. But I would simply describe it as cute. So, we are all here in the same place, seeing the same people, hearing the same stuff, yet no 2 of us have come here following the same road or the same path. And as such, at this very moment, even though we are having the same experience, we are not experiencing the same thing. roam. So when you travel along the ribbons of gray, they all unravel and bring you homeward to stay. Oh, highways are happy ways when they lead the way to home. Highways are happy ways when they lead the way to home. Highways bring happy days to the lonely hearts that roam. So when you travel along the ribbons of gray, they all unravel and bring you homeward to stay. 'Cause highways are happy ways when you lead the way to home. When you lead the way to home. When you lead the way to home.
Wow, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Thank you so much. A little bit of a hard act to follow, though. But it has been fun for me to get to know our next speaker through some events last year and through some work this summer. And I am pleased to introduce to you your Student Senate President, Alyssa Cornier, for the student address.
Hello, like they said, my name is Alyssa Cornier, and as president of the student body, I'm excited to welcome you all to campus and into our family here at CSS. You may have entered this school thinking you know who you are and who you want to be. However, trust me, you will soon realize that this school will challenge and change you. Who you were before you came here doesn't matter anymore. You are new to the college, and with that comes a clean slate. This is your chance to decide who you want to be and what you want to be known for. This is your home for the next 4 years. I encourage you to become acquainted with your fellow classmates and the faculty and staff as well, as they will be an invaluable resource to you during your college years. You are all here at this school because this school believes you will be successful. This college provides us with all the resources and support we need in order to be successful. But it's our responsibility to take the resources and make the best experience here for ourselves. When I entered this college, I thought I had everything planned out, and nothing was going to change my mind. I stand here today, changed my major about 3 times. So I can tell you things will change. I encourage you to get involved in every aspect of this campus. I never thought I'd be up here today as a student body president, so challenge yourself. The best advice I can give as an upperclassman is to get involved in this campus as much as possible. Join one of our 70 clubs on campus, go to athletic events and show your school spirit, try out for a music group, or join study sessions so you get better grades. But never tell me that there's nothing to do on this campus, because you could be busy of every moment of every day. When I was a freshman, I never left my dorm room, never met new people, and had an excuse to get out of everything. And I can tell you right now, that was a mistake. It's not what you do through college with your schoolwork as much as it is outside. They go hand in hand. Make your experience both inside the classroom and outside the classroom, and the people in this room with you today are going to help you do that. The last thing I want to address with you today are the Benedictine values: community, hospitality, stewardship, love of learning, and respect. I'm sure over this past weekend, with your lovely welcome events, you've heard about them. It may take a while for you to get accustomed to them and actually find the true meaning within them. These values are one of the things that makes CSS such a wonderful place and different from other schools. Yes, every school has values and says that they carry them out, but they are actually present here at the college and meaningful to every person here. It is important that you embrace these values, and it will make your experience more meaningful as well. My job as president of the student body is to make sure that you guys all have a good time, respect the rules, and that I listen to any complaints. I'll promise to do that, as long as you promise to be a good member of this community. The advice I've shared with you today comes from experience, and it definitely comes from my heart. With that, the last thing I have to say is welcome home.
Thank you, Alyssa. And now Dr. Leanne House from our Department of Music will introduce and reintroduce the alma mater.
The alma mater is a school song. And this summer, the school song has been revised to make it a little bit easier to sing. So it's new to everyone. Now, you may feel, if you're a new student, that you've had plenty of opportunities over the last week to access your ignorance and make mistakes. This is your chance. You've listened long enough. You've listened well. It's your chance to stand up and sing. Now, some of you are going to be sitting there saying, I don't sing. Well, you know what? If you were to see me run around the track over there, you might take a look at me and say, wow, she really can't run. But you know, I can run. It may not be pretty, it may not be fast, but I can run. If you have two vocal cords, your vocal cords and lungs, you can sing. May not be pretty, but you can sing. It is your job now to stand up and sing the alma mater. You're probably going to hear a few people singing a few notes from the old version, and this is your opportunity when you go to the first football game and you sit next to a sophomore to look at them and say, what? You don't know the alma mater? Okay, so it's printed on the back of your program. It's very important that everybody sing, because if you don't sing, the person standing next to you is going to wonder if you're listening to them, and that would not be kind. Everyone up. I will play it through once so you get to hear it, and it's your turn to sing.
I'll let you all stay standing for a few minutes. That was great. See, it wasn't that hard. You have a few months to practice before our big centennial for the next year. We'll be singing it a lot between now and then. You'll be singing a lot. I expect to hear you humming it down the hallways. I will. Okay. One quick note of thanks to Steve Lyons, Vice President for Student Affairs, and to his staff, and especially to Holly Carpenter, I think she's up there, who really did all the work to pull this all together and make it all work this morning. So thank you all. Before we close, one more reminder that all first-year students are to gather on the front steps of Tower Hall in the sunshine, and right after this, so that you can have your photo done. And to close our program today, we have Rachel M. Sandy. She will offer the benediction. Rachel?
Let us pray. O God, our greatest example of love, may we strive to live out our Benedictine values, especially hospitality, in every moment of our day. May we strive in this new year to show love, respect, acceptance, understanding, and joy to all members of our community and whomever we meet. May we never turn away those in need. Help us to be always thankful for the gifts and talents which we have been given, and have the courage to share those talents with others to our greatest ability. In every moment, may we find ways to learn, grow, and adapt to become the person God has created us to be. And may we have the courage to accept the plans God has made for us with humble hearts. Teach us your way, O Lord, that we may walk in your truth. Amen.